Lawyers on life support, Corona-chan is the reaper and her grim scythe is thirsty. Let's talk about this. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota that is not shutting down, but lots of law firms actually are shutting down. There is a real problem out there. Now, if you like these quick legal videos, hot takes, and updates, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, share this with your friends. Get the word out. If you like longer form content, we do live streams pretty much every weeknight, 11 p.m. Central. Come hang out for one, see if you like it. For now, though, let's talk about what's going on in the world. We have lawyers out there shutting their law practice because they just can't afford to keep it open. Now, this is, in some cases, very surprising, and in other cases, very, very predictable. Certain people we could expect might be able to keep their law offices open, and other people may not, because the size of the practice matters, the practice areas matter, all of that stuff. We've got different types of business, just like in any other industry. You have different business models for law offices. If your practice involves petty crime as a primary driver of income, coronavirus is devastating to you because you've got clients who generally are lower income anyway. You might already have trouble collecting. Now you've got courts suspending operations. You've got indictments and incarcerations slowing down in general for anything other than really violent crime. You've got arrests being slowed down, and you've got delays all over the legal system. Everything is getting pushed back because if you walk into a courtroom right now and sneeze, the judge might die 2 weeks later, and they just can't have that happening. Judges are old. Judges are terrified of coronavirus, of course, and they have the power to keep people away from them by law. Nope, we just shut down the court and we'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it after the world is done dealing with a crisis. So we are following some cases which have some of those different business models, and we can real quickly talk about them. Let's do a couple cases. We've got DSP, we've got Keemstar, and we've got Vic Mignogna. Okay, those are three interesting examples. DSP's case is bankruptcy. DSP's case, when you're hiring a bankruptcy attorney, you tend to put down a wad of cash up front for a fee for the expected amount of time investment that the bankruptcy attorney will put in. And they tend to have a good model for how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. Now, in DSP's case, I think maybe he didn't represent exactly his situation to his attorney. And I mean the external factors. Like, I have a bunch of people who might cause trouble with this because they're my detractors, man. There's bug bankruptcy mechanics, and I just can't, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, bro. DSP might not have communicated that. So while he paid his initial retainer, there is a lot of extra work that might have to go into this if the creditors get interested and want to really break down what's going on. The interesting thing for DSP, though, and how this works in kind of his favor is we won't know that because his case is likely on the block for delaying. They've delayed foreclosures. They've slowed down collection efforts through several state measures and national measures. And things like bankruptcy are easy to push down the line for a court. So DSP is currently still slated to have his hearing on the 26th, but any hearings after that are certainly subject to a delay from any party, any interested party. And that's a reality in most courtrooms right now, is any interested party goes, Judge, I think we need a delay, and they're getting a delay. They don't have to provide much else at all. Now, DSP's hearing is, of course, by telephone on the 26th. They are not doing an in-person 341 conference. They will be doing it by telephone now. And so that's to Phil's favor. Absolutely. He won't have to sit and be directly confronted by someone. He'll have the barrier of a phone. He'll still be technically under oath and all of that stuff, but that phone is going to add a nice level of cushion, and if you were in his shoes, you'd probably want it. Phil is probably going to be relatively okay through this, for now at least. Now, when everything comes down, if the creditors remain interested, there is certainly a possibility that his legal fees could go way up, and his lawyer could cut him off if he's not able to pay them, or they could, they could put themselves in the bankruptcy estate and try and collect. That said, next let's move on to Keemstar. Keemstar is a little bit of a different scenario, right? I don't know how much money Keemstar has, but he has a big channel and probably a healthy amount of income from that channel. He's got lawyers, and he's also on the defensive. Romeo, oh Romeo. So not only did Romeo already experience a fall off in business according to his lawsuit, but Romeo is now facing the fact that he is in a service industry that is certainly considered non-essential and also involves very close physical contact. Tattoo parlors are not going to be operating in Hollywood. I assume they were closed down pretty early, and I believe they will remain closed for quite some time. And that is going to definitely impact Romeo Lacoste's ability to prosecute this lawsuit against Keemstar. Sure, there's going to be delays, but he's going to have an attorney who's going to be working on whatever happens. Those delays, that's going to be billable hours, as the attorney has to read email updates from the court and relay them to Romeo. If Romeo calls and has questions, that still racks up money, and he's not going to really have the income, I don't think, not from his primary business, to sustain it. Who knows what kind of nest egg he has built up, but that's chopping away at that stuff is devastating, and it really could impact the longevity of that lawsuit and how it is prosecuted. Could really work out in Keemstar's favor. He hasn't had to do a ton of work at this point, and his costs will be proportional to what Romeo's willing to spend at the end of the day. So we'll see how that one works out. And then, of course, there's the Vic Mignogna case. The Texas Supreme Court has just issued an order down to all the lower courts, basically giving them the power to extend, delay, hold hearings remotely, do whatever they need to keep Corona Chan out of the courtroom. They don't want her in there. They don't want to be killing judges and old wheezy attorneys or anything like that. They don't need to deal with that. So you've got the lower courts in Texas with basically unlimited authority to delay. Interesting thing in that case is, from the defendants' perspectives, sure, they've been awarded judgments, but those judgments, to my knowledge, have not been collected. So Jamie Markey owes Sam Johnson $50-something thousand. So the 48 plus whatever amount he has spent so far on the appeals process, right? Now, she's been awarded the $50,000-ish from Vic, but if she hasn't collected it, that's still outstanding. Sam Johnson has a bill for $50,000. That's a receivable that he doesn't know when he will get paid. All right? So who knows how that's going to impact his business? Who knows how that's going to impact their case and his ability to prosecute it? Because as he doesn't get paid, and as this drags on longer and longer, looking at writing a bunch of appeal briefs and reviewing the next appeal brief that comes out from the opposing counsel, and preparing for oral argument if you have one, and anything else that you have to do, that prospect looks expensive, and the payment prospects look like they're reduced. Same thing with Wick Phillips. Wick Phillips is $280K in the hole, at least at this point. There was some payment that they've alleged. I mean, maybe they did get paid some amount. I think they said they got paid $80,000 to $100,000. Okay, there's still $180K in the hole then at that point, plus whatever they've done on appeals. And we know they've already had to file a couple things because they missed some stuff. And they're doing a cross appeal, which adds even more cost. They haven't really been paid. The prospect of them getting paid is pushed down the road at best. Their best prospect is they will eventually get paid. But in the meanwhile, Wick Phillips is a big firm. They've got a lot of payroll to make. They've got a lot of rent to pay. And those bills not coming in could have an impact there. Now, I do think John Volney and Funimation are probably best situated to weather this storm. Funimation will, as a company with cash reserves, likely has already paid Volney his bills and probably has a budget set aside for the remaining bills. But there are real questions there about how long this goes, what kind of delays we're going to see, and how that will impact the prosecution, or well, the appeal of this case. Very, very interesting stuff. We will see. We will see what happens. I would expect, now their reply briefs are due on the 31st. I think we may see a request for an additional delay due to Corona-chan. There is no reason to push forward on this because they're probably not going to get a hearing, but maybe they will. I don't know. We could be surprised by all of it, but there are some real extreme circumstances that could push things back, and we will be watching. As for all the other law firms out there, ooh, it's rough out in them streets, getting real, and my best wishes to all of you. I hope that Corona is kind. I know that for some people it will not be. Oh, there is one more lawsuit we're kind of watching, right? And it involves a North Carolina fatso, but suing the Sons of Confederate Veterans, who I don't know anything about them, but maybe they're terrible people. It doesn't really matter. There's a real problem with that lawsuit already in that their GoFundMe is now shut down by their own choice, capped out at $10,540. I would suspect the Randazza Legal Group is not doing this that cheaply, and I'm really curious about how long that suit will continue, and if it does continue, how long Mr. Jay Woolman will be doing charity work for Greg Doucette. I don't know. No idea. All I know is everybody out there feeling that pinch.